Okay, so on this piecewise function, you did the correct thing by choosing to use the first equation for -1 because it's less than 0. And for 0 and for 2, you use the second one because it's greater than or equal to 0. So the question is about graphing. Now, both of these are linear, and that's because when you have x by itself over here, that's so 2x plus 1, that x term right here is the same as if you had an exponent of 1 because x to the 1 equals x. So this is linear. The second one is the same thing. You have a linear equation. So what you're going to do is you're going to graph this. Now the first one, it's less than. So since you have a less than, you're not going to include that value, but let's call this 1 and let's call this 1 so that we know that that's my scale. Now if it's 0, so if x is 0, I'm still going to do that. Okay, so ignore this over here, and I'm going to just use f of 0 because that's my boundary point, and I'm going to use the 2x plus 1, so 2 times 0 plus 1, which equals 1. So that's not included in my first equation. So the point 0, 1 is going to get a hollow point. Now, this has a slope of 2, so the slope is 2, m equals 2, which is the same as 2 over 1. So my apologies, I'm re-recording some parts of this, but instead of rising up to and over 1, I'm going to do the same but backwards because these are for values that are lower than 0. So down 2 over 1, down 2 over 1, down 2 over 1. So if I graph that down 2 over 1, I can get some points and then draw my line, sorry about the squiggly line, down that way. Now if you don't know how to do that, you can also just use points. So like if you do f of -1, which you already have over here, then that's equal to -1, so it's -1, -1. And then if you do -2, f of -2, that's equal to -3. So you can use the points to graph that. Now I'm going to change colors for a second because I want to graph the second part. Now the second part does include your 0, so f of 0 for your second equation is equal to 2 because it's 2 times 0 plus 2. So at 0, 2, you have a filled in circle. And you're going to move to the right of the x because these are greater than 0. So you can try to use the points that you already found, which are these. So f of 2, so if you go to 2, then it's 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then you can connect because you only need 2 points, really, to do a line. So that's how your lines would look for the graph.